he was a dentist. He wasn't a businessman. And so as I look at someone that's running dentists and doctors' offices, which is oftentimes a business person now, and the doctor just wants to show up and do medicine. There are so many things. There's one story that I use as an example all the time, which is when we talk about Alexa in the future. My dad's a dentist, or at least he was before he retired. And I've had a lot of time to think about how a practice could have been run better. He was a wonderful dentist, very caring, good doctor, but ran his own practice, just the one the whole time. And he looked around at all of his friends, and they opened 7 practices and just kind of managed all of them, right? And made a mint, where he did a very nice job. And I will never take anything away from my father. He did a fantastic job raising and taking care of us. But he was a dentist. He wasn't a businessman. And so as I look at someone that's running dentists and doctors' offices, which is oftentimes a business person now, and the doctor just wants to show up and do medicine. There are so many things. There's one story that I use as an example all the time, which is when we talk about Alexa in the future, I want a scenario in which I've said nothing, and Alexa tells me, hey, you have a dentist appointment next Tuesday. Now, I didn't ask her about getting a dentist appointment. I didn't tell her that I needed to schedule one. I didn't do anything. She was paying attention and noticed that the insurance window, the 6-month insurance window for a cleaning, was about to expire. She knows who my dentist is. She knows my insurance company. She was able to contact the systems at my dentist's office and say, hey, we'd like to schedule him for an appointment because his 6-month window is here, so he can schedule an appointment and get covered by insurance starting on next Tuesday. So then it compared my calendar, my work calendar, my personal calendar, all the obligations I have, compared that to the dentist calendar and said, oh, we have a 4 o'clock slot. All of that stuff happened without me having to interact at all, and it just told me later, like, oh, by the way, you have an appointment next Tuesday. All of that magic happened behind the scenes. That would be amazing. But in today's world, it would still be pretty easy to say, I mean, think of the dance you have to do with every schedule you ever make. What do you have next Tuesday? Well, we have an 8 a.m. Or we have a 4:30 p.m. Okay, well, looking at my schedule, because I'm doing all the parsing myself, I'll take the 8 a.m. That sounds perfect. Okay, we've got you down for 8 a.m. We'll see you on Tuesday, Mr. Blankenberg, right? Like that's me on the phone with the dentist's office. I'm taking up the front desk person's time, who's also greeting guests as they come in and checking them in and doing all that stuff. Like, you could take that responsibility off of them and push this to voice assistants instead. I think that payments are also something that are interesting. A lot of dentist office, they don't expect you to pay the day that you're there. They'll send you a bill or they'll file it with your insurance, and it takes a little follow-up. So you could check in and say, did you receive my payment? Am I paid up? They could send notifications to you like, hey, by the way, we're still waiting on that $130 payment for that root canal, or whatever it is. I've never had a root canal. I don't know how much they cost. I think it's probably more than that. But those seem good to me. Another thing that I thought would be really interesting, and I think this would be powerful for customers, is the idea that they could be pushing reminders to their customers. Like, I meet with my dentist every 6 months, but how simple would it be for them once a month to be like, you're flossing, right? Like, and I'd be like, when my dentist asked me, are you flossing? The last time I flossed was maybe the last time I was here. Yes, I'm flossing, absolutely. We all lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that we're flossing all the time. But I think that kind of stuff is cool. But for doctors too, right? Like, are you doing your physical therapy? Just a reminder, I can send you another list of the exercises you need to do. Or are you taking your meds, right? Like, doctors could take a more active role in that stuff, even though they're not actively doing anything. Their systems are pushing notifications out to their users to remind them, like, hey, you need to be taking these pills regularly or your heart's not going to do what it needs to do. So those are all like small businessy things that I think would be pretty easy to incorporate into a skill.